All right. Don't know, do we have everyone online and can you hear me? Hopefully microphone is working well. We'll see that a little bit later. So today's session is about analytics in general, okay? So what is it, why do we need it, how do we use it, what are our options? That's what we are kind of going to discuss today. Also today I feel quite stupid, so this session might be quite bad or quite good. We'll see how it will work, okay? So everybody wants analytics, everybody wants SEO. As soon as you start, it's like, I want a website, I want SEO, I want analytics. Why is this? Why do people want analytics? Why do they want SEO and what is it for? I just want to know, a couple of guys here, so what do you think, Thomas? What is SEO?
SEO is how accessible and everything, and how Google uses it to index your page to figure out what your page is about, and
So Google uses SEO to analyze your page and what is your page about. That's what I heard.
yeah. So basically, it's like for their search engine. Well, it's not just Google; it's Bing, and anything that has search engines. Straight through your page to see all the things, all the elements. And
Yeah. So it scrapes everything, okay? So we need to talk about that. The SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, okay? So basically some websites are very good for search engines and some are quite bad, okay? So we will talk about that as well. But why would you do that, Julia? What do you think would be the purpose of making it very optimized?
Yes, because when people search for, let's say, some words in Google, then your site comes on top and they can find it.
Exactly. So when people search for specific words or terms in Google or other search engines, then your website should come on top, so that people can click and find you. Okay? So that is kind of SEO, okay? So we want our site on top of the Google's list, so the page 1. Everybody who is on page 2 or forward, they never get checked at all, so you might as well be living in hell, people won't find you if you are on page 2, 3, 4, 17, etc. Okay? So what is then analytics? What do you think, Thomas? How does analytics play the role?
analytics is information about who visits the site, where they're from, like where they came from, all that kind of stuff. So like, how did they end up on your site?
What device they use.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get information like what device they use, where are they from, how did they end up on our website. So we get some information about that. How does that help me? So let's say I have a website, Animus Farm, that we will try to make more SEO and other friendly, hopefully. So how does that work? So I know that people on animus.farm are coming from United States, for example.
You can cater more specifically towards certain users.
So I can cater better or more specifically towards certain users. But how do I cater, there are Americans, they can subscribe to my services, say like French people.
Yeah.
So what is catering?
Well, let's take the opposite. Let's say you have a lot of visitors from France, but your website is in English. So when you see that there's a lot of people from France, you might consider putting in French language translation.
Okay, so here's the thing, because you probably can't hear it very well. I realize that I have lots of users from France and I don't support French language, then it might tell me that I need to support French language and display information in French as well, because then those users will be happier. Okay? So basically, I get some sort of insight. Okay, that's fine. So what is their language, what they speak? Okay, what would be the other insight, for example, that is useful?
For example, if we see that the majority of requests comes from like mobile device, that people mostly go to our site from mobile device, that we must be sure that its site is good, loaded on mobile device, displayed good.
Yeah, so what Julia is saying, if we realize that lots of people are coming from mobile phones, using mobile phones, that we have to ensure that we have a good, responsive, I guess, website, so it looks good for the mobile phones, okay?
Also, the amount of visits can be interesting. See how many people or how much traffic you get for investors and for advertisers or something.
How much traffic I'm getting for how many visits for people I get, so I can tell that to my investors or advertising. But which is all true. That's how they advertise these services. That's all true. You know, that's the features that we all kind of get. But you know, you build this great website, okay, animals.farm, and you spend so much money and time and effort building it, okay, and then you have it, and you put it online, nothing happens. Nothing happens. You pay lots of money to beautiful designer and, you know, colors. You were really adjusting everything to. Nothing happens. Why?
Because people don't know about your site.
Of course, they don't know about my site. That's the first thing, you know. I don't know any sites which, on top of my head, which are for agriculture. Okay, so if I'm a farmer and you ask me, hey, what's a good site for farmers? On top of my head, nobody remembers it. Okay. So people Google. That's or use different search engines, but. What do we do as developers to help promote these sites?
Put keywords, people search.
We can put keywords, okay? But now the thing is, if I put a keyword farm or farmer, there's a problem. There are hundreds and hundreds of already sites which have that word mentioned, okay? And just because I put the keyword farm or farmer or management or AI, you can imagine that there are millions of websites which already have that keyword. So what does Google do when you have millions of sites with the same keyword?
It checks other criteria.
There are no other criterias. You know, how does it get ordered?
There are many criteria for SEO. I don't remember exactly. So it checks them all. If your site structure is good, like keywords, like all the stuff.
Well, that's a sales pitch for people who give you sales optimization. Well, App Store optimization, okay? It checks who has the most matching keywords. Well, if I just put farm as a keyword, guys, just one word, and let's check different search engines. So let me actually switch to my Mac so you can see that. Okay, so let me go to google.com. Okay, boom, 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 and I type farm. Okay, so there you go. For some reason, first is dictionary.com, Oxford Languages, okay? Farm Wikipedia, okay? Farming BBC, Dutch News Farm, resilience.org, something about farm, okay? Farm Wiktionary. What the hell is Wiktionary now? Wiki Warden Book. So see, these results, you know, it tries to match them for me, okay? So Google tries to figure out some information about me. Okay, for example, I'm in Netherlands, so this is why I see some of these Dutch results. Okay, so you see this one, and there was one more, I think, somewhere. But then what it happens, it also chooses the most popular ones which have the most clicks. Okay, because if Google shows me the results here that were clicked once in the past year, that's probably not what I'm looking for. But if they show me results which were clicked millions of times, that's probably what I'm looking for. So the most simple way of this algorithm, how it works, is just these sites are extremely popular. Okay, so you all heard of Wikipedia and this dictionary.com and BBC and a few others. So that's why they are on top of the list. Okay, so how can I, who just made a brand new Animus Farm website, how can I get on top of the list? I cannot, because I'm on the bottom of the list. So in theory, everybody has to go on the bottom of the list and click on my site instead of BBC website on top of the list, and that has to keep going for a couple of months, years, and then I will become on top of the list.
But that's why when you develop a site, you must be very narrow area to who you want to target, not so general.
I have to have a very narrow area who to target, not general. Okay, give me example of extremely narrow area.
Okay, something for farms, but okay, farm and artificial intelligence will be not millions of sites, right? But if you go for farm, it will be millions.
Well, there are 2.7 billion results. Okay, so not millions but billions. And if I search for farm AI, well, a little bit less. 185 million, okay. AI management, okay. Now we are back down to 69 million, okay, that's brilliant, okay. So if there are 10 results per page, I am probably on page 6.9 million, so in just under 7 millionth page, okay. So imagine a book which has 7 million pages and I'm towards the end, okay. So great. So it's not going to work, even if I type the whole bloody life story of Aribus, you know, exactly word by word, it's not going to happen. So it doesn't matter how specific my website and services are, it's not going to work. I cannot win here. I can optimize the shit out of my website and make the best SEO website in the world, best highest score, but it's not going to win. It's going to be on page 5,068,000, you know, instead of 7,052,000. But it's not going to exactly win. And I'm looking for farm AI management, and then the smart farm shows up. I didn't even look for that. It has nothing to do, when you read this text, it has nothing to do with what I typed. This one does, farm management. It has AI here, okay? So, what's going on? You know, and what you guys said before when you told me, well, we have to make sure that the website works nicely on mobile phones, that it's translated in different languages. Yeah, of course it does. You know, I know that without SEO. I can check easily statistics where I can look people on the street. You know, they are all constantly on their phone, opening websites, googling shit, and so on. You know, so that's not really a discovery of the century. You know. Now, also, if my website is in English only, French people are not going to open it a lot, are they? You know, so I'm not going to suddenly have huge number of French people. I might be surprised, maybe that's 1 in 10 use cases that it might happen. But really, I will have people with English coming to my website, okay? Not French, not German, not, you know. So, so what does a business which wants to advertise their shit can do? Well, here's Google Ads, pay for it, okay? So you can pay for it, and this is another myth, let's call it, okay? So you pay for Google Ads, AdWords, okay? That's what it's called, okay? And I can actually go here on this computer and just do AdWords, okay? AdWords Google.com, okay? Brilliant. I get 400 free straight away. Let's get that, okay? Wow, animations, it's spinning for my website, Absos.org, fine. Now it's scanning my website. Wow, it's learning about my business. Look how smart this is. This is just going to be easy peasy. Yeah, now it shows me my website back to me. So I'm like, oh, why you're so smart. I put your URL to you and you show me the... What's the main advertising goal? Okay, get more calls. Get more visits to your physical location. Okay, let's do that. Next. Now is the time to write an ad. Okay, so this is the ad. So it's AppSource, digital workforce platform, complete IT infrastructure. Oh, where the hell did they get this from? Where is this text coming from? So this is on the metadata. So when we say these search engines, that's what they scrape for, amongst other things, the metadata. And I will show you that in a second, okay? So headline, get farm management solutions powered. Oh, I can't do that. AI powered farm management. Well, let's put small. Okay. Manage me. What's the alternative word for management? Control. I don't care. Okay, brilliant. Headline 3. Okay. Absolute AI powered smart control. Headline 3. And management. Haha. Excellent. Next. And description too. Free for everybody. Okay, so I guess that will get lots of people in. All right, next. Yeah, well, it's fine. It just keeps pushing this Dutch language onto me, but that's okay. No problems. Okay. So add keyword themes to match your ad searches. Software. Desktop applications, CRM system, software, game software. Where's all my crap? Okay, and I can advertise in English. Okay, so app development software company. You know, but this makes no sense. I just wanted to do farm management, but okay, fine. I will do software consulting, software testing, mobile applications. Yeah, I know I can. Okay, but I'm just following what it says here to me. Okay, Okay, that's my address. Yes, next. All right. So now we come to that thing, all right? This brilliant software says that I paid them 31 euros per day. Okay? I can live with that, 31 euros. Or 1,000 euros maximum per month. For 1,000 euros on this ad, they estimate 380 to 720 ad clicks each month. Okay? What does it mean, ad click? People clicked, but what does that mean?
The interview is not.
They will actually click on it and go to my website, okay? So, let me say, I want to sell you my car, okay? I want to sell you my car, and I want to tell you how fast it goes. Would I give you horribly low number or maybe slightly too high number? Yeah. So in order for you to buy my car, you don't want a slow car. So I'm going to say my car goes 200 kilometers per hour. You like it? Yeah. It goes up to 200, you know. Sometimes it goes 200. Down the cliff, 205 I once went, you know. I don't believe this, but let's say I get 300 clicks. Okay? And I just said to this, okay, I want people to visit, okay? But this is 300 clicks bloody globally. 300, you know, how many people from Maastricht actually are going to click on this? Okay? You know, so how many people will come in because they saw this? Well, it depends. If I am a Chinese restaurant, probably more, you know, so we don't know. So what they tell you then, okay, if you talk to these experts which sell you these services or provide you with these services, they say, well, we put a small budget and you see how it goes and you keep changing with these keywords because then you have to find the optimal keywords. So I'm sure that people will click on my website, okay? But there's another problem. Right here, you have a very big empty section on my results. Why is that? Ad blocker, okay? People are tired of ads. You have ads everywhere, okay? I just read yesterday that now Windows 11, on your logout screen, Microsoft gives you the ad on the logout screen. Come on.
It gets worse. They're actually going to put ads now in games. So if you watch the games in Twitch, that the viewer will see the ads in the game, but the player won't.
Yeah, so,
It's stupid.
yeah. So they are trying to put ads absolutely everywhere, okay? And lots of people hate those ads. So I don't know how many people use ad blocker, okay? But if anyone here on this call is not using ad blocker, you are mental. Okay? You are definitely mental. So check your browser. If you don't have ad blocker, please do add it, you know, because, well, it speeds up your fucking internet. B, when you go to YouTube, it doesn't give you 10 minutes of advertising that you need to watch. It just gives you the bloody video for free. And if someone who is employed here is paying for YouTube Premium not to see ads, you are officially fired, okay? So just report yourself, you know, after this call and we'll sort out the paperwork, you know. So this little guy, and I'm using whatever it's called, uBlock or microblock or whatever it's called, doesn't matter, blocks advertising in videos. It just skips them. Fine. I also use Firefox for these reasons, not to see the ads, okay? Because even if you add this to the Google Chrome, you still see some ads because, you know, because Google told these guys, if you don't show some ads, we will. So those ads will appear to some users, and to some users they won't appear. Okay? But the problem is which ads appear, because everybody is paying this. Well, who pays more gets preference. So you might even have your ad on page 2 or 3. Okay? And that's a problem. And then the problem is, once your ads are clicked, for the rest of the day you don't see that ad anymore. Okay? So yes, I can then go in and say show only these ads to the people who are in Netherlands. And I can say show it only to people who are over 50, okay? Because I know the typical farmer is 60 years old, so don't show this to kids, okay, or anyone else. I know the typical farmer is a male, so I can also limit showing to the male, so I can increase my chances, okay?
But this is the question I always have. How do they know who I am and how old I am?
If that's the only thing, Julia, they know how old are you and, you know.
No, but for analytics, how they calculate me?
Because if you ever enter your age on any website, it has, well, behavior itself as well.
What searches they do usually, what websites you enter?
Yeah, well, I'm quite sure that when you registered for this Google account, it asks you date of birth and gender, so does Facebook, so does everybody else. And I hope that you do it like I do, you just lie. You don't give them your real data, just to confuse that. But the bottom line is they either know specifically who you are or they don't know, but it doesn't matter. They know plenty of people who match the profile. So I can, but this is becoming now rocket science. Okay, it's becoming really a rocket science. If I'm running a small business like a cafe, okay, and I just want people to come and visit my cafe because I make good coffee, well, so everybody else says they make good coffee. Okay, so this is very hard to get, and it gets very expensive, and it gets very complicated. And at the end of the day, what I want to do, even if I pay this money, okay, and let's say I pay this money, I want to see what are the results of it. Okay, so I want to see what those people who did come from Google, what did they do on my website? Did they just open the page, stay for 10 seconds and they left it? Or did they actually read all these texts and nice content that I wrote for them, that it took me so much time? That's what I want to see. So if I choose to advertise with Google, but then the problem is, of course, not everybody is using Google. They use Bing and they use all the other search engines. Okay. But here's the thing. I can pay Facebook some money. I can pay Instagram money. I can pay everybody, Microsoft, let's have those bloody in-game ads that Thomas was talking about. I can give them money to, so I have to make millions of these accounts. And for each one, I have to spend €31.50 a day or more or less. So it is becoming very, very horrible. Okay? So really, it's what I kind of try to do is think of the shortcuts, okay? Now, if I'm targeting farmers, okay, I might get a non-farmer to actually buy my services through this Google crap, but I would really like to talk to them directly, okay? So I'm sure that I can buy some bloody list of farmers' addresses somewhere online, and then I will send them a letter. So I will send a letter directly to the farmer. Yes, it will cost me €3 per letter, or €1.50, or I can send them the email, you know, but I don't believe those are real emails when you buy that bulk email crap. So I don't know a single person who click register for newsletter.
You can contact suppliers for farmers.
I can contact suppliers for farmers, but those suppliers for farmers are like, yes, Andre, you are right on time. We were just waiting for you to give all our farmer information so you can sell your crop products to them, okay? You know, so they'll say, oh, what's it in for us?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I send all these letters, you know, guys, what happens with all the letters that you receive that are advertising pizzas and, oh my God, they go so in the trash that you don't know what email you sent. And then in the Netherlands, you have these beautiful stickers. Nah, don't give me any of that crap, so I don't want to even see it. So yeah, I'm painting a really lovely picture here that people are investing huge amounts of money in advertising, and I don't think that they are always getting the best value for their money, okay? And even if they get the best value for their money, even if people do click and they do show up on your doorstep or call you or send you the email, there is a thing which is then called cost of acquisition, okay? How many of these clicks you spend? 10 for one customer to come, okay? So if you are selling coffee and you spend 10 clicks for one coffee, okay, and this is 500 clicks, so 30 euros. That's like euro, so I pay them euro. I paid taxman euro, I paid euro for the rent of my thing, I pay euro for wages, so my coffee now ends up €7. Not very good, cost of acquisition is not very good. So yeah, €31.50 daily doesn't sound that bad, but when I calculate how much does it cost me to sell one coffee, it's not very good. Now, if I sell one application which costs €50,000, then €1, brilliant, but that's not the thing. For every 10,000 coffees that guys across the street sell, I sell one application. So my cost of acquisition is not €1, but €10,000. So I have to invest €10,000 in this and hope that I will get one client. Not a very smart business model. So we go back to the question of what the hell is analytics for? Is it just for investors so they can see that when they invest money in my business that I have people visiting? What would be analytics for in this kind of description of? To get information on businesses and people. Okay, but what is the information on businesses and people that you want / need?
Whatever you actually need. Like, it's so broad. It's not something specific, and everyone has different needs and different
Yeah, but analytics is not that powerful as much as you think, you know. So it does give me your IP address, your country. I can figure that which country are you from. I can get some information what you typed and rough information about your gender, age group, and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it. I don't know which company you work for. What's your role in the company? Are you director or are you... I don't even know your name.
But with analytics, you see every day how many people visit your site. And for example, if today it's 1,000 and tomorrow is no one, and next week is no one, then you're doing something wrong. You need to change how you
Well, you say, if I have today 1,000 people and tomorrow 0 and the day after 0, you are doing something wrong. Well, it's the same website, unless my website stopped working for 2 days.
For example, if you pay for advertisement or whatever you do to promote your site, then it does not work if people don't come. And then you need to change it.
Well, so one of the points is to what I said before. We can check how well our advertising is working, okay? Especially if I give a little bit to Facebook, little bit to this, little bit to that, and then I can compare how much for my 10 euros that I gave to each one of these, I'm getting back on the website, okay? And people do click on those ads, that's true. Some. Because there are two things that you can get charged. Pay per click or pay per view. Now this thing, what this is saying is not saying you are getting 380 clicks. You are not paying per click. You are paying per view. We are just going to show this to first 1,000 users. Probably 380 of them or 720 will click. But if they don't, they don't. We still showed your ad. It was on their browser or on their phone. That's pay per view, not pay per click.
But it's not only advertisement, it's also this, how it's called, when someone puts the link to your site on their site.
Well, that is when somebody puts a link.
No, it's right.
When somebody puts a link from your site to their site, okay, that's a really great thing, okay? So, but can I just call BBC and say, hey BBC, or can I call, I don't know, Dutch television and says, yeah, why don't you put a link,
Okay, this not, but if, for example, bloggers who have millions of followers.
yeah, so now we are talking about bloggers who have millions of followers. But this is their business model. They say, pay me lots of money.
They get a percent of how many people.
Yeah. So you watch YouTube video in the middle of the YouTube video. This YouTube video is sponsored, which reminds me, this YouTube video is sponsored by this cup of water. They pay me 5 million, you know, for the product placement. So now it's placed here.
No, but for example, Andre, if you know you're a super genius in development, and then you have, I don't know, your blog on internet, and then you say, well, I was working on a project, blah, 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 story, and then the really what helped me to figure is this, like, for example, debugger or this antivirus or something. People trust you because you have a good name, and like this, they will also use this one.
Yeah, that is all true. You know, what she was saying is that if I'm a good developer and I recommend somebody, people do trust me, okay? So that is definitely an option because that's what people now start getting really horribly immune to this advertiser that they say, okay, I just want to hear recommendations, okay? So what I did for a while was go to Amazon and then don't read the product description, but read what people wrote as reviews. Because those reviews, at some point, were honest, you know, and they say, this is a piece of shit, don't buy it. I was like, thank you very much, I won't buy it, okay? But now, of course, what happened is that they notice that people are reading those reviews now, So we have a huge bank of people employed just to type
Yeah.
fake reviews, etc., etc. So now I don't know is the review real or fake. So that not even a review can help me. And as I say, you know, customers, you know, these YouTubers reviewing products, they will say this is the best product because that's what they are paid to say. Do they really recommend the best product, you know? Do you believe every YouTuber that tells you go and buy these shoes, these cars, these USB crap?
It depends on people.
It depends on people. So he has 1 million followers, you know. People do that still, okay? So it's all about getting that cost of sale right, okay? So if your YouTuber is live streaming today with analytics, and he says go to Animus Farm, we can see that anyone go. Is there a spike that people went to Animus Farm? I gave him like 500 euros to say go there. Let's see, is there a spike in number of visits? But then, of course, I have to make sure that after those number of visits, I get the right conversion rate. So I have to follow these people. Are they coming back to my website? Are they calling me? Did they send me the email inquiry? Did they go buy now that product, etc., etc.? So as you can see, this whole exercise, and this is very important, this is why I'm talking about it, is most of the customers that I know, they just don't think about it. They never think about, okay, once my application is live, what do I do then? How do I advertise this to my users? How do I make them use my services? How do I make this happen? And this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. It can cost you lots of money, it's disappointing, it's like, oh, where are all these people, you know? I developed a really cool game for mobile phones and I put it on mobile phones and I didn't advertise it, okay? In the whole lifetime of the game, I had 400 downloads. Okay? So you can see all these games on mobile phones, they have like millions, 10 millions, this Crash Candy, you know, 1 billion downloads, you know, and they have toys and everything else, you know. No, that is not by accident. My game is better than bloody Crash Candy and crap like that. It doesn't matter because they advertise it correctly to the correct age group. It happened really well, and they keep advertising it in order to grow their business, okay? And this is one of the things that American venture capitalists, because somebody did mention before, these investors, are really, really keen, okay, to see the growth of your company. So grow is must. If your company is growing, which means your sales are growing or your number of customers are growing, that's good. Okay, then the value of your shares goes up, investment pays off, etc., etc. So they say, oh, you're profitable. That's horrible. You can't make profit if you're a company. Why would you make profit? Are you crazy? You could have invested that money back into the growth. So this is why all these bloody companies like Twitter and Uber, etc., never ever made a profit. Because they are just reinvesting all money in a growth, because every time when they have a new investment round, they just put more investment in. The value goes up, shares goes up. America is happy because their GDP, the country's whole thing went up because the stock market is doing well. But there is actually no value added. It's just ridiculous marketing effort, which Small businesses like us, most of the customers that we have, there is absolutely no way they can compete. 3150, cheap. So I will not buy it, but it's not going to work very well. So yes, you have to think about these things, guys, really well. Figure out what's your strategy, who is your first customer, how you're going to get there, how you're going to onboard them, and how you're going to keep them, okay? But this topic today is analytics, okay? So we'll take a 5-minute break now, because I think we had a long introduction. So I will try to show you in the second half how to get Google Analytics built into your website and service. I'll explain that. And then I will show you AppSource Analytics, so how to integrate that in the website as well. And then what kind of stuff you can see. It's not that hard, so it should be not a brainstorm. Okay? Can you see specific pages clicked in your application, Esther? Yes, you can. We should be able to see that in a second. Search criteria, also you can see that that's true. So those information will hopefully I will be able to show you after the break. So 5 minutes and then we'll resume.
But I don't have a YouTube subscription, so I'm not have it yet.
Oh, that's good, yes. He's signing off his YouTube's.
Thomas,
Yes.
after I submit, the page actually takes a while to load and close the pop-up. What could be the reason?
Waiting till the response. Is your server slow?
Don't
Check
think
your
so.
network tab. How long it takes till it actually finishes the post request.
Yeah. But so this is like normal, it's not something I can fix?
Depends what the cause is. If it is the network, then it's unfixable, yes. But that's because your load probably takes a while compared to a website.
Okay.
So which ad blocker you have on your phones?
I don't have
Phone?
Yeah.
Phone you don't really.
Yeah,
I mean, you can.
yeah, for example, for YouTube, because I mean,
Oh, YouTube I have premium.
what do you have?
Premium.
Ah,
Yeah, it's for the whole family.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just use it. Don't need to pay.
Do you have one, Thomas? Huh?
Thomas is busy.
So, I don't have an ad blocker on my phone
Yeah,
because I don't really care about my browser on phone.
Yeah. Okay.
Cardiology.
Učim. Blood pressure.
Alright guys, let's have a look at this then. So, Mac screen, so I'll kill this guy and kill that, okay? So, in order for me to use analytics, I can go to analyticsgoogle.com and create a new system. It's not really complicated to do this because it has a little wizard that asks you, okay, what's your website, http://animusfarm.com, okay? So I created that, I called it Animus and all that sort of stuff. So this is the details of my web stream. Now, how to set it up to work, okay, is I have to put what they call a tag, okay? And this is view tag instructions, okay? So, now, if you have a web WordPress or something similar, you can have a plugin, which is you download the plugin and you can do that, so that's not a problem, all right? Or I can install manually if I don't have it, okay? So I will definitely go for manual installation of this thing, okay? And let's have a look at this. Basically, it says load the script, Google Tag Manager.com, this script, load this script. So it loads one JavaScript, and we all know what JavaScripts are, okay? And then when it loads that script, it says, okay, there is some data layer push arguments and the push a date, and there is a config which is this GY, whatever it is, and that's, I assume, this my ID. So the JavaScript is extremely simple. So this is the code that I need to put somewhere in my code, okay? So if I go to my Animus website, okay, this is the whole thing, all right? So my admin, Animus, home, etc., okay? So what I want to do is put this JavaScript somewhere that it's loaded on every single page, okay? Every single page. So it can't just be on a home page and that not on other pages, okay? So where would you put it then? Any ideas? Oh, I can put it in components that I use on every page, okay? So I have a left bar, top bar, you know, footer. Those are the components that I have on every page. So it makes sense to put it in one of those components which loads on every page. So basically, I think that's what I did. I go to files, and I went to my admin, okay, outsource admin, and I went to resources, themes, Wexy, and then I went to views, and then I went to includes, and then I think I put this one in top bar. Yep, there it is, okay? So because every page that we use has this top bar, I put the script there, okay? So that's copy-pasted basically the script in the top bar, and then I go to some page like manage, okay? And I say view page source, okay? So this is the source of my page, and I can look for some of this code, Google Tag Manager. Let's search for that, okay? Control F. There you go, there's my script, Google Tag Manager, and there's that thing. Let's go to another page, okay? Your profile. View page source, Control F, enter, there it is. So, but let's go to one of the other pages like Animus Weather. Okay, now here. View page source. It's here. Okay, so basically it's on all pages, except what if I log out and I go to, well, is it on this page? Oops, sorry. View page source, where are you? Control F, Control V. Oh, it's not on this page. Okay. And if I go to just Animus Farm, my home page, my landing page, view page source, it's not here. Okay. So when I put it in the, where I put it right now in my header, my top bar, it's a good location, but obviously it's not a perfect location, okay? So I have to make sure that I added a few more places, so the place where this is, okay? And then a page where the login screen is. So if I look at this, just for example, this head top bar, where it is, includes, no, I'm in Animus, my admin, resources, views, no, themes, Wexy, views, includes, so top bar, this is the one, so I kind of put it there, all right? So that's where I put it. But not every page knows this top bar, because if I go to the page like terms and conditions, I can see that this terms and conditions page extends layout auth layout, which is fine. That's my login layout. So auth layouts, if I go to layouts, auth layout, it says includes head. Okay, that does the content, that includes guest scripts. Guest scripts. So maybe I can put it also in the guest scripts. Okay, so put that script just after this one. Okay. So just to make sure that I get it on every page that I need to get it on. And then what happens, of course, is that after some time, I should have some statistics, okay? Boom, boom, boom. Animus, no data received. I try to do this before just before this session, and it didn't work yet, but it says somewhere it might take 48 hours for this to work, okay? So I can only wait then to see what is going on. If you are building mobile apps, all right, you might install Firebase. And typically in previous sessions we mentioned Firebase mostly for the push notifications. But this Firebase also shows me analytics of the apps, and it can also show crash analytics or crash analytics or some other stuff. And this is cool because with one platform I can see not just my app, my website, but I can also see my mobile applications. And then I can compare this activity over the time, okay? So, app developer acquisition overview, permission denied, user acquisition permission denied. Why? Okay, I think I logged out as a AF, so let me just go back to this thing, okay. But since we are developing this Animus app, obviously we are not going to have many things, and I think we stopped. We are developing push notifications, but just want to show you quickly what the hell we have here. Okay, so acquisition overview. 0 new users, users in last 30 minutes, in which countries, and then new users, channel group. Did I get it from the Google ads? Did I get it from some other source or platform and so on? So I should be able to see where did I get these users from. Then user acquisition, same thing. But then I see, okay, engagement sessions, engagement rate. So these are some of those parameters which are kind of important to see how long was that engagement, and what's the percentage of the people who fall off and so on. Traffic acquisition, how many sessions did they have, and how many. Some people will just open the app for 3 seconds, some people will go for 20 minutes in the app. So that's what we want to see, like average engagement time, how many engagement sessions per user, and so on. Because what typically you will think, if the user spends more time in your app is better. Okay? So that's what you are trying to engage users as long as possible. Don't believe that's always the good thing, okay? If I'm playing a mobile game, yes, it's good to have users to play for a very long time. If I'm looking for shoes to buy, then maybe it's not that important and so on. So these are some events. In this case, because as I said, we are using push and we were trying some push, we can see that push notifications, which again are designed to engage your users to make sure that they are using your app. You can see that 10 were received, but 8 were dismissed, okay? So that's horrible. They don't care about those push notifications. So my push notifications are bad. They are not talking to my user very well, so I can send some different push notifications. Doesn't tell me which ones, what's wrong with them, etc., etc. And then I should be able to see, this is important, which pages and which screens my users visit over the time. Now this is important for some people who want to add a new feature. And they add a new feature, and you add 2 new features, okay? And you don't know how well they are going to perform. So you can see over the time other people using that feature, not using that feature, how long they are staying, so you can decide, do you want to continue developing that feature or not? Or improve that feature if you think it's very important, etc. Monetization, if you have in-app purchases and ads in your app, then it will add money that you earn by displaying those ads and in-app purchases. So here you should see that. Retention is obviously important because if I have 100 users, but only 3 return, then I'm not doing a good job. So I want as many returning users as possible. Demographics overview, this is what we were talking about. This is country, city, gender, interests, age, language. So this is typically what we find out about our users, okay? And as I say, Google tries to build profile for every one of us and puts it somehow, often correctly, in a correct gender, etc., an age group and language, and then they can display the information here so you can understand, if you care what language your users speak and how old they are and so on. again, by country, tech. Now this is tech overview. This is another thing what we try to talk about. This is a platform, so you can see are more users using iOS or Android, or they are more on the website. So if they are using more Chrome than Firefox, etc., etc. But you know, unless your website or service is extremely specific, 80% of your users will be Android and 20% will be iOS. There's no other operating system, okay? And most of Android users will have Samsung device of some sort because that's the one which is most being sold here. So it's not going to surprise you, this data. If you are looking at browsers, most of them will use Google Chrome. And then Edge, Safari, and Firefox will have very low percentages. If you're looking at operating system, most users will use Windows. And Windows 10 to be precise at this stage. And not a lot will be on Linux using different flavors of Linux. Obviously, Ubuntu is the most famous one, but you know, I don't think this will show you any specific interesting data that you didn't know already or you couldn't find out by typical things. So that's that, all right? How much does this cost? Well, brilliantly, zero. So Google gives you all this information for you to add to your website for free. Why? Well, because they are making money out of this, okay? They are getting a little bit more information which they don't actually give to you here. So that's why what we do is we have our own analytics platform. And I will show you this, but when I checked it today, it didn't work, but it doesn't matter. So we have a program called My Analytics, which might work somewhere else, somewhere, okay. It did show some information when I changed something to year or I don't know. So the stuff that we have in Google platform, we have in our own platform as well. And we can see all this information that we want and drill into that information. We can see what's the average visit duration, how many people left after one page, so they just logged in and logged out. So 44%, that's quite high, but that's typical, okay? And then we can see who are our visitors and what software and what user IDs and all that sort of stuff they have. A real-time map, I can see pretty much everything. So if I look at devices, desktop, it got 7, okay? Generic desktop, that's probably PC, Apple, tool. This is your screen resolutions. So it gives you that kind of information that you need to optimize your website if you want to make a better experience for the users who have these 3 resolutions, okay? And then one only had 1280 by 720, so that's a very old laptop, I would assume, or tablet, so we don't care too much about them. Okay, and as I say, you know, Chrome will be the one which is predominant compared to Firefox, and because we are visiting this alpha website, it has Linux, but otherwise it's going to be mostly Windows 10, etc. Behavior, now this is the one that I think Esther asked me about, is what are the entry pages, exit pages, etc., and what are the referrals, you know, if I'm searching in a site, outlinks, etc. So should be able to see that information here. And as you can see, lately people were clicking on my CRM because I was asking people to use that. But then my CRM was also very confusing for them, so most of people just closed it immediately and spent 13 seconds on a page. So I would say to these people, maybe it takes longer than 13 seconds to figure out how this works. Okay, exit pages, you can also see the exit pages, which is the page where they decided that they had enough. Okay, so my profile, user profile, okay, and this is a page which is, I guess, logout page. Okay, my projects, they went from the home page out, and this is commercial menu. Okay, so I can see exactly which pages people decided I had enough, I need to leave this website. Acquisition, so these are the referrers. This is the search engines. So if somebody searched on Google or Bing or whatever for alpha.appsforce or brilliant software, they will have the referrer here and what they searched for. Okay, so because we all use this website internally for us, and it's direct entry in that case, so all these visits that we are showing are direct entries, so there are no keywords, what websites, what social networks, and even if you have a campaigns like a bloody email campaign and so on. E-commerce is this kind of similar thing where you can monetize this and see how much money it made you, and you can even put a little goal for you, so you can kind of get that cost of product. Okay, so that's that. And one thing, as you can see, this My Analytics, it shows me some information quite well, and it has actually more information than what we just saw on Google. And I want to show you how this My Analytics is installed inside the system. Okay, so again, it's in my admin. Okay, but this is in Metronic. Okay. And can't remember where I put it exactly, so let me check scripts. Yep, so it's here. So every page in Metronic, because which loads one of our themes, loads a script, which is pretty much all of them. It loads automatically this pivik.js file, the JavaScript, same thing with Google, okay? And this JavaScript file then connects to a program called My Analytics, which we just saw, and saves the data in the database. Okay, so what I have here is that I am checking, does a customer of AppsForce has app number 1 million or whatever and 34, because that's My Analytics. So if you have the app, it will load that script from that folder, and it will record the information. If you don't have the app, then it won't record the information. It will not load this script at all. And this app, compared to obviously Google, which is one and only, so in one place everybody's data comes in and Google sees all of that, AppsForce doesn't see all of that. Okay, so our client Slinky has My Analytics on there and installed on their computer, on their server, and they can see their traffic for their website. I can't see it. Okay, so all this information that they get, it's brilliant. They can easily get for themselves. Okay, so total privacy, and as I said, much bigger insight inside what the hell is going on. If I do one more thing here, if I go to my admin utilities database, my analytics database is here, okay? And what I can see is that pretty much all of this stuff that I have is saved in a database, so I can export this stuff, I can put it in Excel, I can analyze it, so I have all the data in the world that I care about displayed there. And you can see that some of this data is kind of encrypted, so it doesn't say, hey, this was Ahmed who visited this site, but Ahmed gets a thing called visitor ID, okay? So every time when Ahmed visits this site again, they know it's Ahmed. They don't know that it's Ahmed, that it's his name, but they know that's the same person. So you can see that this 1D3 visited site on 5th of July, June, but this same visitor visited on 16th and then on 19th, okay? So in theory, what I can do is, figure out exactly who this person is by checking few other bits inside of this database, like their API address, because that's also recorded. And then in my users table, I can record the IP address, so I know that is 100% Ahmed or whoever that was, and have really good insight what their gender and what their age is and what their interests are and so on and so on. Okay? So as I say, we have so many interesting, so whether they visit the first time, when they converted, it's just ridiculous amounts of data. I'm just showing it one page, okay? And you can see all the links that these are clicked, etc., etc., etc. And then I have hundreds of tables full of the data that this app collects. So all of these are pretty much the data that we collected. And archives, so if it collects lots of stuff, it creates these archive files. So it's creating huge amount of data. You can analyze much better than Google Analytics. And can you learn something from it? Probably. For me, not that important. Any questions so far? So, if I want to connect mobile app to this, okay? As you can see, this is a JavaScript. So if I'm writing a mobile app which is Angular, or which is Vue or React Native, basically I can load the same script over there, okay? And this script will upload the data from the mobile app, because mobile app is just a website, so I can see the same information. When did they log in, who logged in, what's their addresses, and all that crap that, I have the similar kind of stuff. Which page they entered of the mobile app, which page they exited. So with the same, this pivot.js JavaScript, in most mobile apps, I can do that. However, if I'm building a native app, then native apps will not run JavaScript files like this, because then I need to use something else, okay, in order to store my data and analyze what people are doing. What else is there to say about this? Yes, unfortunately, we can provide alternative to Google and Apple for the analytics but we can't provide the push notifications, okay? So we have to use one of their services, and in this case we are using Google FCM, that service. And that FCM service does come with 2 other services, okay? And, well, 3 or 4, but the one that I mentioned before is analytics and is also crash analytics, which is very good, especially when we just launched the app, so we know is it crashing or not. So I do recommend that we put these inside, okay? But then you have a problem because you are collecting data about the users. So the terms and conditions, according to all our laws, have to say, hey, your privacy policy, your GDPR, we are collecting the data about you, okay? And this is the data, so you have to accept that or not use app, okay? You can't just do this without asking people for the permission. You can, but then when you get found out, you get huge fines, okay? So it's very, very important that we know how to implement this, but then also that if we are implementing this, that the customer knows what they are getting for, what services they are getting, and then of course they have to legally make sure that that's covered in the terms and conditions and all those pop-ups and notifications, etc.
I mean, when they press accept cookies, can't we do it on their own?
Yeah. Any questions? So, as I said, this is not a very complex thing to implement in your app, website, and you know, it's typically free. There are many providers, but for most users, this data is pointless, okay? So you really have to be some sort of business analyst who is pushing these numbers, or investor and so on, to make sense out of these, and it's then even harder to convert what you learn from those numbers into actions. So what action are you going to do? What are you going to change in order to do that, okay? So, and it has obviously the side effect on privacy, etc., which is never a good thing in my opinion, okay? I'm privacy freak in that terms. I don't want to give people my data, but you might think differently. So, anything else? Any questions, any comments? Nope. Okay, well then we won't take any longer of your time. I hope that you got something new, that you learned a little bit, and that it was at least partially useful. But guys, thank you very much for your time, and talk to you next week. Bye bye for now.